Have you heard of Skeleton Crew? Skeleton Crew って聞いたことある？
聞いたことある。かっこいいよね。
超イケてるって感じ。
イケてるイケてる。
マジいいし。
سلام به همه دختر پسرای ایرانی.
イケてるイケてる。
این بندی که دارین میشنوین اسمش
我哋 Skeleton Crew 真係黐線啊！呢個都數白真係
咁
都俾佢唱到出嚟，哇！好正，真係正到飛起。
好正啊！好聽啊！
Deeskee
哇
artist
正係我，大家一定要聽下嗱，冇錯過呢段嘢，真係黐線嘅話，超正啊！
睇嗌咯。Skape artist 1 2
Aku cara take sit di semua escape artist
سلام به همه دختر پسرای
aku cara take album dia
میخوام درباره این سیدی براتون صحبت کنم. این
style
سیدی واقعا
ini perlu aku escape artist
کلمه انقدر خوب باشه.
movie escape artist
خیلی ممنون.
એમને મ્યુઝિકમાં મ્યુઝિક સાઉન્ડ વર્ડ એ બધું સરસ બનાવવા માટે એ લોકો એટલી મહેનત કરે છે ખરેખર ખૂબ સરસ બને છે. એક વખત તમે એને સાંભળો તો પછી તમે યાદ રાખી લેશો કે એસ્કેપ આર્ટિસ્ટનું ગ્રુપ ઇટ ઇઝ જસ્ટ ગ્રેટ.
The social infrastructure can't control without the will to be controlled. I stroll the mold in shapes and steps and reps of repetition. Listen. On and on, I seek the psalms of reaching on. I'm leaping on a comet's on, it's bouncing back and forth. I'm pacing back and forth like a nervous wreck. Pacing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Serve you like Davenport, I'm hunting rappers in the midst of jungle beats. When I don't flip to beats like this, the left side of the thought's complete. Obsolete, right side of the system. From the left, I complete the prism. Shining from my third glass eye stigmatist. From the left, with all angles to enlarge the prism. From the left, with all angles to enlarge the prism. From the left, from the left, from the left. Swallowing 2 cups of sand, exhale, spit out shards of broken glass. I'm aware I'm an entity lost from the past, trapped in an unfamiliar body cast. Still life, all movement, dragging its carcass across the floor of my apartment. A cave painter, scrimshaw artist, turkey carving my speech under candlelight. I trace the blank space of the paper to signify the experience, intertwining threads of time into a myriad of successive close periods. Peddling time, treading the fine floodline of the mind's void cavity, dreaming in a blur. I derive the speed of light by blinking rapidly. Transpose thought shift to literature, rinsed in frankincense and vinegar, giving an enema with my finger to a mental picture of a stick figure. An inhibitor to your familiar physical sensory center. Recede to the hall and enter with the scent of decay in the air. From the left, with all angles to enlarge the prism. It began as an experimental suicide, self-educated, a lesson in carbon monoxide, breathing enlightenment, complete insight sent through the few remaining chain links. My brain sinks while the slang blinks. The main leaks a little bit, the middle split, and the soul is into our atmosphere. Passenger seats dazed, trace the displaced consciousness, disgraced misogynist, hangs from an old chandelier. Yet another vain attempt to kill the man in the mirror.
Left side of my brain stimulates my left hand, but being a lefty is what makes me more creative than the average man. Woman, human being, it seems MCs will watch me enter stage left. They'll watch me wreck the mic, then exit stage left. The cipher continues 360 degrees with MCs in a circle. I didn't come to hurt no body, metamorph. Now we switching bodies, but I can tell by your Myers-Briggs personality test. You use the right half of your brain. I can't accept that change, so I switch back. Now that my body's back intact, I'm back on track. I couldn't accept the anomic fact that in your body I can't win. It's the wrong choice, like making 4 left turns straight into a dead end.
I got beef like the Iron Sheik. I go to clankums with white gloves and white sheets. No one can see me, my style flows freely whenever possible, overcoming obscure obstacles. On my last day, I had more tentacles than testicles, more pulled than wagons. Flagging while sagging while flagging, blowing out more chronic smoke than the wheat head dragon. Hanging with me foresight in a battle with the fourth right. On the fourth night, the word came back. It will last just about a fortnight. I'm trying to keep it alright. It was a fourth white with 4 whites. I became very direct and frank. In other words, I was forthright. 4 fingers in the air, in the middle, twisted to approach. Hit the clutch, just the 4th gear, and cuts. I'm fucking and ducking, sucking and plucking and taking feathers from my clothes. covered suck of the dick from my memory. Remember me? Are you still down? Still clown while I frown? You're down on the ground. Made the lyrical 4 times to about to spray you down now. They call me the trapdoor because of the way that I trap horse, slap doors in houses and cars, drinking way too much at the bars. Wake up the next day, wash well, that's that too. Okay, Jay, approaching and purging from alcohol explosion. Rest up, confess up. I'll see now, take your stress up and put it on now. Take it off, we gon' get it on. Turn the lights off. Bust nothing, cut ain't nothing new. Grab a pen and start killing cruising at the track of our slave man. I'm in it with amen.
I'm living out my life through my dreams. I captivate and obliterate evil with the words that I speak. When you look in the mirror, do you know what you see? Or is it a figment of your mind, a mixture of their lies, getting us closer to reaching genocide? Then again, I've known this for some time. The people from the left talk to me, help me face the problems and adversity. I begin to see what they see, hear what they hear, feel what they feel. And my eyes are their eyes, and I find myself surveying the landscape in the cold of this night, wandering for hours at a time, gathering data to fertilize the mind. The blanket over my eyes has finally been lifted. Now I stand amongst others that are gifted.
I am obligatory, I am impossible partition. As unchangeable as nature, savoring each vision I'm sensing. I am man, manipulated and mangled by the overpowering clenched mandibles of life, conceivably blinded by sight staring into my eyelids. The emptiness races light as the moon glides past and defeats the sun and rests on the 7th night. It's the owl versus the rooster. But the nightingale's shriek sends the division of life and time into a chaotic storm of feathers. It all happened in time, it occurred in the depths of the night, and it was all but a dream. Vulture circles in my flight.
Cautious glances, exhausted trances, deposit mantras into the prayer wheel. The sun burns my eyes, but I stare still, refuse to be intimidated. A complicated method in which I was initiated, separated by my elongated hand of help. A rare strand of kelp attacked me, distracting me out of the outside world. Metabolize my thoughts, rationalize the spots, curl in the fetal position, a needle in the ignition, receding from my premonition. Medieval cynicism, clinical advancements, individual mechanics of the 9 residual planets, metal creeks where the settlement leads to uniqueness, to contribute to global completeness, clinging to the idea of educating the fetus.
From the left of the jade cocoon, I stay in tune with the 8th moon. My skeleton fate blooms 2 orange trees. I tied the ends of a hammock and copyright my tree sap forest dwelling love for the right secular cosmopolitan creed. Perfect timing is right left behind my straitjacket, my Dolce & Gabbana amnesia takes a piss. I'll start reading from the left of the list. Let's have these left wing wiggers please step to the left of my fist. I won't compromise my position. From the left you negotiate with the terrorist.
Massive actions implanted as a spasm in this matter, debilitating and capturing all substance, leaving a hollow cadaver. As I wander through these caverns against my instincts half alive, while my reflection in that puddle portrays me as half dead. I'm climbing, tracking backwards against my own bloody entrance to this world, discovering a cycle of both endpoints in a fetal position curled. Insert the blade and twist. I'm the Pegasus, traveling with solar winds through the blankness. I'm ageless and contagious. It's unsafe to stay within 18 meters plus an arm's length from where I stand. I've been observing as those hands wrap around that dial. We've been hiding behind a smile, lying to ourselves for quite some time now. I brushed the dirt and sand off these marble plates and touched them like they were each that person's face. If only the sky were gray, I couldn't paint a better cliche. The moon mocks my birth here on Starship Earth, hurling my livelihood through the stained glass pane boundaries, profoundly displacing my locality to a reality of split landscapes. Rationality breaks through logic and strips all existence to mere faith. As it becomes more difficult in waiting, I find myself nearing my destination, delegating my final contemplation. Reborn premature, reinstating what is past to a position of further progress, layering the ash and dust augmented into opposites. A reconnaissance mission, MIA in the triangle of tropics of my mind and time, prying hands guided by prying minds, providing life with founding factors, a lasting breeze on the leafless trees. Unconditional variables dependent on the previous passings, leave lasting impressions indented into the foreground. Extended vantage point lifting, beliefs in apparent awareness, caressing the hips of time as extra measures, weighing light to estimate the value of being deemed blind. Mother Nature lactates as she cries, and the rivers run dry, scaling obscene vertical climbs in the rise to an observable feather-plucked bird perch. Taste this mineral deposit, extract a coarse sample from this two-dimensional plane, and take shots of rainwater to numb the pain. Invisible ink histories, missing chain link of events, descending to higher ground, feeling these sounds, intimate interludes with baskets of fruit, pollen secreting a primary transhuman reproductive tool. Mammogram nihilist, anagram descrambler finalist, sit beneath the lamps and speculate on card games played by two magicians.
Every time the brush is the canvas, images are placed. These images have meanings, but seldom can you see a face. The mirror reflects what my eyes are merely ready to see. Overwhelming thoughts which later become foundations for memories. A blind man walks to the courtyard alone, facing trials and tribulations of lost and forgotten souls. The answer to the meaning seeps through the cracks. For a moment I stand, watching the hands of time. Eyes begin to squint as I'm blinded by the light, then surrounded by the night. Invited to enter the forest by the man standing to the right. I begin to smile because I'm delighted by the sight of a unicorn drinking rainwater from the fountain of life. My dreams control reality, and my reality was just a fantasy that used to exist in my brain. But like a beast it's unleashed, creating everything I've ever read, seen, or conceived. My imagination reaches a peak. A bird sits still in the sky. With a snap of my fingers it slowly comes to life, then begins to fly. I'm pulled back in time, hovering over my body. Time seizes as I await the last few minutes of my life, hoping and praying for a peace of mind. But I'm confined within a place where the walls keep closing in. The only way I can escape is if I awake. My body begins to shake, I remember being afraid. I saw an image but I couldn't make out the face. I wondered if it was death coming to take me away. As I soared, I opened my eyes, I found myself flying in the big blue sky. Now I'm back walking on these city streets, and everywhere I go I see demons following me. They're devils and angels disguised, using hallucinogens to ease my mind. The pain is unbearable, I feel like crying, but instead I start writing to teach the young, dumb, deaf and blind.
The time I spent sending hints to the indigenous figments of the still life sentence. I could have just popped the cork, instead confused by a fork, forging my epitaph. Taking a step back, interpreting mishaps. I used to write raps, but now I'm being written off like donations. And what comes after, I really don't know. But before might as well be a whack opening in chest notations. When I express word associations, my crew's the cable company, working around each other's schedules to connect. And the more burned out I get, the higher my flame rises in and out of text. I greet heads with the same disguises they wear, and we feel like we've met before for the same reason we have not. It's like rainwater, an ordained martyr playing the sax. It's like rainwater, and I am harder without thought. It's like water in the rain, what I was taught versus the reason that I train. And all hoarder culture aside, I'm a fortified moss man with journal entries across land. When I walk on the hot sand, cooking eggplant in my saucepan. From Sausalito to Los Angeles, illicit fans by hands that handle truth which handles us. The umbrellas left on the bus, thus human behavior fed the floods. Its analogy for disaster is means of transfer. Plaster my lantern on a brick wall, cured by shock therapy as rainwater falls.
Escape from the branches. Land is a false sense of security. Handed the unbranded skill of vanishing for the sake of this reoccurring dream. Blurry as it be in its subtle purity. Stir the scene and refresh the murdered leaf that has fallen, breathing change. The reasons are strange, and this was a season tamed. Meaning exchange for the first time. I just take tickets to the circus and rehearse my disdain when viewing the worthless surface. In front of others, hold the covers as tight as you can. Write without concept or plan. I stand for things not in English language. Rangeless strangers with no patience, staring faceless. I fade less in order to remain gracious. The place less known, disown any concept of content. Monument to my own clone, less like reality than I had come to know. Spearheading the effort to inhabit the desert, the leper colony I sleep in. Try to believe in the feeding frenzy defending me. In my breathing condescending, I play with matches when I leave my dimension. With no sense of direction, I blindly embrace suspension. Integrating intelligence with ingenuity, correlating uphellments fluidly, muted me true to the sea, instant integrity, medically untouchable, inevitably connected to another time. I expected some lover to lie at the shrine. At a standstill, Earth fights back, the landfill mind of its own, and I was born somewhere between there and the land before timelessness. The fist is the nest, quite impressed with the progress. Thou shalt abandon the project with Gothic architecture. I am much more than your average texture, exposed superstructurally, culturally alleviated, need the hated acceptance. Testing the petulance mid-sentence, the eccentric defendant, contesting the ever-present evidence, an empty clash with medicines. And my technical essence presents me symbiotically as a chaotic oddity and a calm dichotomy. The attitude of rot and seed. Kira embraces those bots who believe. Indeed, I live in Godspeed, clawing in a thin rail of skin cells. The story your grin tells duplicates on my face. Focusing efforts here and ignoring space. From the waist up, I taste the trust. Walk above the clay crust. I don't fare as well when choosing my carousel. My stairwell leads elsewhere. Spare the details of your fairy tale. I exist very well. Posted notices of a rustic republic, corrupted by the lust conducted through my erupted motion. A seething distrust of the ocean, public commotion. Must this notion remain inscribed in thy brain? The ordained destructing the motion, touching my devotion. A contusion to the heart of my circular existence. Grasping my admittance, a heated battle with distance. A listless glance in the eyes of a misted romance. A slow dance with destiny. The way stars are a mess to see. Bleeding the venom in me. Dimensions free me. Time made me display the fading traces of radiation. Named so for a space station. I ride in the twilight. Defy night despite the highlights that repeat in my mind. Ironically, I'm defeating time. Completing the shrine, meeting my kind for the first time. Crystal caverns. Falling to the whisper of lanterns. The mystic patterns I follow involuntarily. It's barely the air that I breathe that is sparing me. Tearing the heart of the monster. Barely unresponsive to the honor. Watching my life on a monitor. Depicted in ridiculous pixels. The vicious swirl of sickles tickles the middle of individuals ridiculed for being a friend of the earth. Insert myself to divert the flow of oxygen. An excerpt from the plot's end. Smile your allotted grin. An angel on my rearview mirror. I fear here like I do a clear look at things. Page 1 of the book of beans. Trex floating through crooked scenes.
Though they label it imaginary, yet it stands before me. At times it tends to smile, disappears for a while, comes back in dreams where I can't seem to hide. It defies everything I know or have been told since I was a child. What I know now makes what I knew seem infinitely small. Have you ever been in a dream where the only thing you're capable of doing is falling? The loss of your senses makes you delirious at times. Palms become sweaty as you clutch the mic, your soul with both hands so it won't fly away. Coming face to face with your enemy, no longer in control of your destiny. You're just another face that they're used to seeing, walking on these city streets with that same old routine. Till you retire at the age of 65, waiting in line to cash your social security check. You begin to reflect back on your life. You regret every decision you made wrong twice. Sitting in your rocking chair, you finally allow yourself to see that success isn't measured by one's fortune or fame. As tears roll down your eyes, you wish you could have changed someone's life just once. Your words can penetrate beneath the surface or shield people carry when they walk. We need to wake up, open our eyes, stop being blind, and stop wishing you could rewind when we're living in these times where television feeds you images of crime. They manipulate your mind to carry out devilish acts, turning fiction to facts. They just bombed Pearl Harbor, so I guess we're under attack. Call your brothers and comrades, pick up these arms, let's go to war, cause the government can't change what went wrong. And when you come back, just what have you gained? Your dreams used to be sweet, but now they're filled with pain.
Got a million rappers and 1,000 DJs. Or wouldn't it talk about how much they flip? She got a million rappers and 1,000 DJs. Or wouldn't it talk about how much they flip?
You should do the silent movie soundtrack, I said with a grin. While in the forest forest, search for animal chin with my cannibal friends, whose breath rang out with the stench of MC flesh. But oh, how fresh I kept pose on the horizon, sizing up unworthy opponents with my almond brown eyes. Not another hip-hop skating rink, rhymes being recited in a dull cipher surrounded by a bit rendition pop lock. I'd rather open my pores and bathe in hop-off, completely shut down my system if I can overthrow yours. I buy bread with rubles and my strategies get published. Enough of this repetitive sedative deja vu. Before you make a move, say jadoo, then let it live. Reverse the translation, coerce the acceleration to compensate for the lack of force. Of course, let my thoughts settle while you live your life like a pedestrian in twisted metal. Yeah, money, I represent everything that's ever existed, thus the sum of evolution. Adhere to the call like Dwayne Barry as the rain carries a reflection. Check the collection to the neglection of the inspection of a cold world. Rewind that part, start from the umbilical being cut. It's just one life to live and die, eat and sleep, count sheep and digest meat. More ink on the sheet of togetherness, whether this is what it seems. A strange word on the range where seldom is heard. Cry for the adjacent world that parallels the suffering. Amnesia's hovering, the wind is a downward spiral and it sucks. Fucks with my head like velvet scenery, or John Deere in a field of dreams. Or so it seems, so the seams. Build a self-esteem engine that could manipulate the atmosphere we breathe. Leave it up to this white rapper to attack your strongest believe. You won't believe, you won't be able to trust yourself. Veni vidi vici, the Anglo-Saxons started rapping in Latin, adapting to the emphasis like plants in photosynthesis. A photojournalist autobiography, cause I'd rather be on A&E than MTV. Perhaps on ESPN Game of the Week. Me versus my shadow, I reign when I speak. Split heads like colors in a mean streak. Now we'll let the chorus paraphrase this wavelength.
She got 1 million rappers and 1,000 DJs. Or wouldn't it talk about how much they flip? She got 1 million rappers and 1,000 DJs. Or wouldn't it talk about how much they flip? She got 1 million rappers and 1,000 DJs. Or wouldn't it talk about how much they flip? She got 1 million rappers and 1,000 DJs. Or wouldn't it talk about how much they flip? She got 1 million rappers and 1,000 DJs. Or wouldn't it talk about how much they flip? She got 1 million rappers and 1,000 DJs. Or wouldn't it talk about how much they flip? She got 1 million rappers and 1,000 DJs. Or wouldn't it talk about how much they flip? She got 1 million rappers and 1,000 DJs. Or wouldn't it talk about how much they flip?
With is without, knowing this I extend beyond shadows of doubts and spit routes that hemispheres travel on and clash. Jumping back from a flash, nodding my head outside of orbit and break it out in a rash. Taking out my stash of moonlight for show and tell, you see. I'm the one that diffuses scripts on decayed landscapes and scatters Caccini dolls on pumpkin patches. But nothing matches the blueprints of detachment, only drawn out as a deceiving feign of reenactment. My war-torn blanket of comfort wraps around me skin tight. I feel only the mist descend on my windpipe like tobacco from a peace pipe when I perceive night as the shadow of a deity. It's the thin line of time and scenery, the chicanery of stillness. And here I am as far from bedlam as I am from a payphone, yet I stay mobile, so in touch with my universe. Global and local may as well be purple and lavender, so I amuse a lawnmower man while I diligently hover over the hurdles of a scavenger. And I can see the blueprints of a glass castle in the palm of a sandy handprint. Who's this in the line of the sun that says he remembers me? Says that stars are really the breadcrumbs of nuclear energy. It's time to beat a drum, and I run like some thunderhead engineer with a clear centerpiece and a clear consciousness. I hear the hum of the magnetic field yielding to beliefs such as these, separating myself from a world outside of the trees. I brought a shield to the masquerade party hosted by the wind to shield the innocent blend of awareness and sound. I pray on my long lost attitude of reason until I'm found, dwelling in the place I've always been. This is plot against theme. Starlight descending to dirt and or brush fire meeting a stream.
So let's
shed our shame and blame each other for our suffering. I'm like lightning in a strobe light world, existing subtlety is a rigid compound of rotten flesh and earth clay. I'm marching with torches and pitchforks to burn down my birthplace. Let's skin the catch and nail its flesh to our totem pole and stuff this trophy fish even at the sound of the first drum roll. So outward galaxy shifts in my breath control. Oh, please lift the light switch and scatter to the wishing wells. Mother Nature taste tests the sperm banks and shakes hands with the leper colony. Please to escape your acquaintance, return readily for readjustment. Follow me, and we'll bury our footprints with the loose soil overturned. Leave the hatchet on the surface, let's rebuild and never return. Force fit the puzzle to a coarse sheet of cutting board for consequence. And facelift these modern expressions and emotions to opulence. Spray paint the monuments till they become seamless with the wildlife. It's curtain call, and I'll take a bow for my creations. I'm an actor on this battlefield, hauling a stretcher, carrying symbolism. But we have little tolerance, spin the blender on production to make hands look like tomato storms on an asphalt city's infrastructure. I'm definitely at the top now to stop this ball from rolling. Without a doubt I'm uncertain to the outcome of this epic, beating this poet to an embryo yolk with a stick infected with stigmas. And you'll never stare into the uncut sun rays or listen again.
The 11th hour, my irrelevant rise to power. A scoped view from my branch tower. Uncomplicated tasks, my clear view of the now domesticated past. Addressing my liquid congregation. Historical exoneration, the dawning of patience. The way that birds know before we do. Onslaught of the ageless maintenance. Painted by the sun-scanned glaciers. Taste my angst, my entourage of broken souls. I present this token to the collected skulls. The clang of metal equipment. Transferring blanketed sickness with the manufactured smile. Dragging my transistor with a fractured dial along this final scattered mile. The floral arrangements that are painted in the cadence spaceless, ageless interior, expressing admiration to a deteriorated mirror. As the clear learns to disappear, liberty and misery individually eclipse me in my fair disguise. Behind this pair of eyes that continually stare in surprise, I wear the wise, flying under old glory. Someone told me that the skeleton sold the story, and now spent Tuesdays together at 40. One more sortie for personal pride, locked in this eternal stride, now expected to reply to the tide. I tried not to sacrifice inside, but it's a big sky, torn by the worn waves of the past days. Solitude in a glass maze, remembering who or what I could have been. The content that was then, sweeping across the brush, in such a rush to touch the lush strokes of God's paintbrush.
The sky bleeds, the earth screams, and the wind carries my prayers as I breathe heavily standing on my knees. Time as I know it stops, as the voices of my fellow skeletons hovers in between my ears. But my ears have become immune to words, as the light guides me like a vessel lost at sea, looking down to catch a glimpse of my body lying motionless on this battlefield that has worn and torn my dreams into pieces of glass that no longer show the reflection of who I used to be. Still I can feel the life within me diminish with each second I wait. Eyelids have grown heavy from the strain. It's just a matter of time before they can no longer withstand the weight. Yet my senses have grown keen. I can hear the birds whispering amongst themselves as they flock to trees that overlook the garden as it bleeds, where sunshine has become a mere memory, and darkness invites us all with open arms. I can see past the horizon where the fog slowly lifts its head up over waters that are calm but still glimmer with intensity. I can smell the sweat as it drips off your forehead while you sleep, shaking vigorously as you try to awaken from this dream. I can taste the bittersweet remnants of defeat that hang over our heads as we march in unison over fallen leaves. And I reach out to touch your face that inspired me for an eternity, knowing it's the closest to heaven I'll ever be. And I lived in a world where everyone's caught up in either pleasure or pain, where we took things for granted, and I was a poet who thought I could make a change. But it's too late. As my eyes close, I slowly begin to drift away.
unlock the circles and take apart all the clocks till it stops. Get the unorthodox concept of a cycle will exist in the concentric rings of water drops. Lost in the mirage of delusion, the constant movement proves why hesitation can be so costly. Follow the light directly to the source. I'll brainstorm in an insect swarm. Respect's born when I set forth with parables written on corrugated paper. The puppet master candle maker. For heaven's sake, your saviors be led to fate by the human percolator. Circumnavigator, I'm levitating above Shawcom's corpse on an ascending elevator. Unplug the resuscitator before you create a mistake for all humanity to pay for. A disciple of the machine in the sky, and there's nothing like the sound of 2,000 people standing in silence. The climate rises, and I ride chariots of fire as time expires. Blinded the eye of the tiger, and scared the daylights out of the sun. A perilous mountain with time on the run. My origin's not the same as the place I come from. A strange man in a strange land. Last night I finger banged a stingray while being serenaded by a mermaid. Treating objects like women, sinning in a synagogue. It's the Renaissance, lecturing to the Pentagon over an intercom. And you can't seem to escape that invisible barrier. It's mushroom level space harrier in a minus world war barrier. And nothing can prepare you to salvage your career from malpractice against this overbearing balance of talent. You're an invalid Gattaca, Galaxian, the fallacy of phallic tendencies of the average MC with microphone symbolizing homosexuality. You're a dope MC. See, it's reverse psychology and effective warfare theory to delete the weak with mental selective crossbreeding. What happens when your DNA no longer replicates and you're faced to endure the pain of brain waves engaged in destructive interference? Totemic spirits leave human bodies hung in cocoons. From the light hole footprints to Oldify, my cohorts and I will grab the 44 and head straight to the corner store, looking for more in a world of unstable ideas while you're enthralled by your own reflection.
Pilot in Tron, ahead of my time. A hitchhiker on the Autobahn, now the world's passing by. When what remains left unchanged, I'm asking why I'm the same. Like the rain in the ground, feeling the effects of my states when I anticipate the sound.
Looking for a window in a world full of mirrors. I fear it's time that's passing. I'm asking why it's unchanged. We're the wind with no name, moving streamlined through unsophisticated structure. The establishment will crumble the piles of rubble.
Deliver the mail to a one-eyed Jack, keeping the tin of diamonds on all fingers of my queen of hearts. She cracks my back. You see, I sold spades to an old maid, battled my doppelganger with the soul blade, and deceived the suicide kings. Spotted two jokers on a suicide mission, walking amongst nobles, peasants, and thieves. And if I could have stopped time, they might have heard the ticking in their presence. Now who's gonna be the solitary receiver of this riddle written from my possessed typewriter? I snipe biters with silver nitrate, play go fish with live bait, use MC liver to catch cod. It's a bit odd. I sip gin rummy with a thin mummy. We rap at the king of clubs for confetti drops on soapbox dubs. I didn't ask for a house mix of Billboard's greatest thugs. The scene seems so sour. I must return to my house of cards before the rotation of Crazy 8. You hear? It's 52 past the hour. I shall leave the cipher with a poker face and hang my 4 suits in the closet of my elusive tower.
Plucking petals from a flower, observing the meteor shower. I brush your atmosphere aside, sometimes I question my own powers. We watch the turmeric paper and wait for the molecular structure to surpass critical mass from the melting man to bodies in glass. Inverted umbrellas collect water from walls of rain. It's your destructive nature, from hanging origami cranes to domesticating the flame. The third omen opens the dolmen, cave walls painted with mud to reanimate the inscriptions written in pigeon's blood. And although tissue will suffer, radiation burns in the negative zone. The eluded entrance into a mirrored image world, my native home.
I'm a butler in a house of cards with Xczircles, who is the dealer. We constructed this house from the underground. Now you can board the paper airplane I made for my notebook, and we can travel at the speed of sound.
Silent soldiers suspended in the silver fog, drifting in from the sea, erased the colors of the day from the soft shadows that gave me shelter. Even the water, peaceful yesterday, seems troubled by the same unfriendly chill that pushes me from my reverie. Across the bay, the skyline winks in half-imagined design, calling back old memories like reflections of my mind.
Nowhere to run and hide with this Jekyll and Hyde complex. At times I'm calm, cool, collective. At other times I can't find my mind, I'm on some nervous wreck shit. The sanitarium's the only thing that keeps me going. Drugged up all day, there's so many things to do. I can blurt it at the top of my lungs, nothing at all. Pull out my pants and run through the hall, or bang my head a million times over and over into padded walls. Put my thumb to my ear, pinky to my mouth and make prank phone calls. The lights are on upstairs, but nobody's home. The train's on the track, but there's no conductor to what I'm conducting. Obstructing justice in this great place of insanity. Holding on to my sanity if there's anything left of it. On my memory, I can't remember the rest of it. The best of it they got of me. So now I wait till everyone's sleeping in attempts to break free. I tie my bed sheets to barred windows. Climbing down 4 stories is no easy task. 1 story left, I realized one sheet I had lacked it. Just when I thought I had escaped, I awakened to be trapped in a straitjacket.
It's the straight jacket, the tangled madness. My violent reaction is sadness. Insanity holding hands with vastness. Rolling my wheelchair along the mattress. Fed up with the voices. I like to bury hatchets. Where the path ends in the past tense. Beyond the glass fence, I stab friends when the track ends. Techno-terrorism. I tear the vision from an unprepared decision. Waving the skull and crossbones. I speak in lost tones. Skipping gloss stones across the red stream. Standing innocently at a flood scene. Explaining to a cop how the dead dream. Paralyzed with the now realized notion that I've been hypnotized by the commotion. Romanticized by pointless devotion. Mourning the death of perfection. Crystallized insurrection. A lunging gash to the midsection. Disbelief overcome by grief. A leafless tree crying sap is the misconstrued laugh. I try to reaffirm my grasp of time. Placing the mask upon the blind. I ask my mind for the unreasonable, the illogical, and the unrealistic. I feel the exquisite. Conceal the mystic. Conceal the twisted with my surreal existence.
Sarcastic laughter, walking on these streets that are filled with shattered dreams. Images derived from what my imagination perceives things to be. I'm scared to fall asleep because every time I set my mind at ease, a magnetic field surrounds my physical being. Conjuring up ways for me to face reality. A nightmare occurs and demons talk to me, telling me they won't leave until I set them free. They spit fire when they breathe. I sit quietly in a room painted black. No lights, no windows, no doors. Only rodents climbing in and out of holes. My reflection in the mirror adores the insanity it sees. And sometimes I find my shadow 8 steps ahead of me. I transcend and hover above these tarnished and tainted seeds. Seeing people who are supposed to be deceased, walking the planet in disbelief, searching for relief. I'm drowning in the sorrow of other people's grief, reaching for the stars only to find out that it's something that can never be reached. I sit here and contemplate how the universe evolved, whether or not we are all created from sand. Walking 100 miles only to realize I'm back where I began. For a moment the madness seems to stop and reoccurs right before I go to sleep, where I constantly find myself having the same dream. I sit beside a man who's counting from 1, 2, 3. The trigger is released, he stares at me and bleeds.
I need my medication, I need my pills. This pain under my ass, so damn cold it gives me the chills. I don't like this place, I feel like the walls are closing in. No more ride to mama's bed, it's time to get in with some sick friends. Tell the guard to get off me, I don't want another animal. Make me wanna get him up and kick his ass down to Panama. Break a jaw in the process of me being sustained. Don't quite understand the pain which clicks in my brain. Makes me insane, I promise I'll change. Beg my heavenly Lord and Savior, just give me a chance to bury my creators. Somebody help me, I feel somebody's trying to kill me. Looking behind my shoulders and back, what could that do if I was strapped? But I'm trapped, stuck inside a mental maze. If I more about my life, would I flip the page? Don't unleash my rage, better yet, get the key to me, and I will happily dispose of it. Indefinitely, properly, you can trust me, I'm your friend. Don't you believe me? I'm hiding naked in the corner with the shadows. Can you see me? He turned his back, and I escaped sweat and bullets. Family a guard's gun, I'ma feel the trigger, and I'ma pull that pussy home to my dome. Take this fallen angel home. When I woke to my rest, I was still alone.
Superstition in a steadfast stupor. Ocean coral lane in circular shapes on the asphalt as it loosens from solidity. Raw meat cooked in batter and stored in canisters for my winter weight patterns anticipation. Scripts are marinated in olive oil and painted with my micturation. In the menstruation product sacrificed from the entrance into the arches. The propensity of my creative intensity will inevitably resurrect the dead cattle at the roadside and dying art now in the hands of the skilless sect. As I direct the tide cycles with my belt around the lunar orb light reflecting spectacle. My summer hang, tugging at 2 planets lifting my testicles. The sunshine splashes the darkness from saliva dousings through my oral tradition. Cunnilingus to cunning linguistics, which I freely dispense for the small expense this commodity. Kiss my Emily Dickinson style of Prozac prose. Your rose-shaded eyeglasses are shattered beneath my deep soles. The hoarse whisper, words from the escape artist with a prosthetic arm up my sleeve. Sitting in the center of a circle of sandbags during drought season. Catch my tongue drops on your tongue and taste the bitter globs of defeat. And press your lips to my bare knuckle, the skeleton crew's boniest MC.
My mind's shadow casts illusions for me to follow. Now confusion floods my shallow waters of reality. Creativity sometimes rejects my company. And fear slash my bravery's throat so he couldn't call for me. To complicate things, anxiety has taken away my breath, fighting an uphill battle. Hollow images of a punctured sky has my mind in a bond with its own lies. On certain nights I disguise myself as logic and scare people into sorrow. A dying sun stares at me in the face to ask why would I shine. I reply, there is no hope for tomorrow. This is the vortex I call my thoughts, trying to close Pandora's box guarded by Leviathan. Chasing shooting stars across the horizon, trying to catch a spark of imagination. Following a stairway of inquisition away from my people's usual visions. A hallucination playing cards with the Sandman. I'm one of many men who have entered this chamber to realize I'm a stranger to my own subconscious. It's because of this diagnosis of madness that I exist. I was soul searching but got lost at the intersection of problem and thought. I tried to block oceans of emotional torment with a single rock, but luck cut off my stream of thinking with an aqueduct. I get struck by lightning when I'm sliding down the middle of two mountainsides, gathering brain cells to develop an idea. A replica of sound is the aborigine of lies that guide my troubled spirit through conception's vast desert. Venturing around intricate corners, my crimson red shadow has predicted a narrow road to the future. Having heard the words of the Grim Reaper, the voices seems clear as I feel his breath drawing nearer. Now I'm captured, walking into a snare. These are the elements of a sequence I call a nightmare. Nightmare, nightmare.
I wonder if he could feel my poison thumb moist with blood hoist the scud above the flood nudge not. I wonder if he could feel my poison thumb moist with blood hoist the scud above the flood nudge not. I wonder if he could feel my poison thumb moist with blood hoist the scud above the flood nudge not. I wonder if he could feel me leave calcium deposits in his memory bank. Consider me anxious to off-center the faintest radius, underground gradius, Zany's arcade style fading in and out of sequence. Needless to say, I could have cloned this idiot with mosquito DNA, any way, shape, or formula, inform in the coroner at 4 in the morning. Soon to be mourning the loss of a boring ass hostage to behind record CEO swarming. This an early red flag warning, homeward bound and back, bound to your back front like it was a habit. I rap with the slapstick penalty shot when I one style caught him 5-hole. Beside poles, I sideswipe souls in a strider strut slide upright in the Eagle Nebula. Not even vampires would fight his style. Man, that was corny, but so was his aura rap style disposition. He was 12 light years shy of split decisions. He had a hard time ring on beat, but a harder time with simple division. He was straight out of Tulsa High. I'll battle him again and put my pulse on the line.
Boy. Oh, I'm standing there looking at him. Now he starts to talk to me. This is how he talks to me. Yo, man, what's up? What's up, man? And he's white. He's waving gang signs at me. What's up, man? And he's fucking white. He's talking to me like he's a card-carrying member of the Wu-Tang Clan. You know what? You're not in the Wu-Tang Clan, okay? You're not even in a tribe called Quest, asshole.
Universe obstructed like Akari warriors beating the game without the ABBA. He wanted to rap for Abba Zaba. I played hacky sack with hypothalamus. A white cow in his corner was thrown. I reclined on my shade throne. Needless to say, this idiot needed a bone transplant. When I ate him like Chinese eggplant, somebody cut us some slack. He didn't know amnesia was short for I forgot how to be whack. I'ma relax with some Kona coffee when he acts like he owns a shoddy. Thought he could stop the assertive inertia, coerce this gerbil on a serpent's turf with a coyote into a peyote. Induce spirit world with cacti disguised oak trees. When the wind howls yet there is no breeze. And children of the corn volunteer for skeleton kurotis. Quote these polka dot commandos who polka dance to my examples. My M31 spaceship is a commuter to my school of thought, and this shadow puppet flew off the handles.
terrestrial branches grow from the shelves. I stand with moccasins, breathing, rethinking, hitchhiking to Mons Olympus with a herd of oxens in a canteen full of toxins, smuggling maroon magic in the stomach of dachshunds, preying on those praying, prying minds open with my native sayings, painting cubes on concave caves into the geomorphism of those saved. Remove your voodoo pins and we shall bowl with crystal balls, recite the paint from the dismal halls of your cathedral. Your savior's missile falls, it's a nuclear blast at zero gravity, frame the flat line. The ordained rhapsody, actually just self-contained happenings, experiments with faith, setting off a chain reaction of silent screams, further react with fractions of fusion, confused and standstill, elapsed time's anvil with a sandalwood handle, horrible crush, lamb's blood gush. Who in God's name told little Miss Neptune about my crush? The mouth of madness, deep throat's a lit candle, maintaining the flame by sustaining a hush. Our relationship is stage 3 mammal to grasshopper, you chirp cries from your thorax, I stand and deliver with Thor's axe, single whip Snorlax, real life hexagon, a dead language spoken from my dead skin mask. Pour out a little rooster blood from my anguish, my pain switched to a faint twitch of faith, vexed by the planets times 3. Book 11, the writing was painting on
From
Corpus
documenting
Christi.
the detail of a gravel road to staring at a blank slate, I collected pieces of clouds and bags of tree moss as a cushion for my body weight. Now contemplate against this backdrop I paint on a clone skin graft. If the candle burns of both, then your emotions lie between what I've become in the past. And let me add to this black sliver in my hand that time is a diversion tactic. Simple deduction proves vampires must have occupied the Sistine Chapel. Engaged in a game of statues with you, the forest rivers in this wormhole. Experiencing vertigo when setting up camp where the red fern grows. Is the man with transparent skin. It was impossible to blend against the abandoned crystal ship accelerating beyond my niche and the Bethlehem star. A chameleon on a monochrome planet, the co-seeking of the crescent of the moon. Expanding lights trapped in a jar with souls and body parts. It's not what it seems, nor will it ever be. Pick apart the 100th monkey theory as I reveal the opposable thumbs led to the concept of war. Slow motion city, the spirits of the 12. I held that notion at one point in my life, but excelled much faster than you where they could develop. It's the escape artists. Our old styles were kept for future reference. My assessment was correct. A third party is always present between nothingness and light. Life is rooted to the poisonous tree. It's the way a hammer can both build and destroy, with my DNA strategically dispersed on each receding asteroid. I was once trapped in a door frame, but I escaped to leave the floor stained with the residue of war games. Now a piece drilling into my own temple. So now riddle me this: what can be divided infinitely, it never diminishes and always exists. Love doesn't hurt, it's the lack of in the aftermath. Still I persist beyond my Chinese birth sign with the tendencies of the centipede. I wisely reverse the energy sent to me mentally and deflect these written scripts to a skydive. As you contemplate whether extinction is truly forever, and lean forward to view my illustrations up close, and pray for contact so you can run your fingers over these aesthetic brushstrokes.
Waterproof vision, out of the loop of ignition. Started my room with the hall of wishing. Free fall through a fictional collision. Conditional dimension, an additional suspension. Over a beach referred to as intervention. Redemption at a flea market. Disheartened with the unmarked. Uncharted sea of eternal youth. A polished external truth. The group hovers through maternal hoops. I extend the fibula and the clavicle in the classical structure of ruptured tendons. Sending the clowns when applicable. A mathematical error and systematic elimination. Tactical over accounting. Dismounting my horse called disfiguration. Returning from the unorbited station. I lay in elation. Patience tugs at my left arm. Pulls me from harm's way. Charms my delay. Alarms decay. Disarmed by an unarmed reformist with an affection for the conformist. The storm is deformed. Torn by the scorn. Reborn with simulated flesh. Discussing the text. Nothing more than an uneducated guess. Impressed with your disapproval for breathing. A strange affection for ritual bleeding. The depleting evidence of the living. The branch Davidian provision. Music for the man with no name. The grasp of your positronic brain. Plain as day in the strangest way.
I find myself knee deep in a waterfall that sits in the middle of a desert. An illusion of many onlookers as they pass by. Unaware and unable to comprehend the mystic spells conveyed by their minds. Meanwhile, I'm dangling an escape artist on a wire, strolling into these caverns that are hollow as they swallow me in like beasts. And once the tension is increased, I'm released onto an open field where vultures patiently watch and wait as I gather myself to my feet. I lie within those brush strokes that were gently mounted onto the canvas that dripped from your walls. I'm the owl in the woods, twisting my neck to the ticking of clocks. I'm the caterpillar that nibbles on leaves and hides in a cocoon and turns into a butterfly with the passing of time. I'm a poet whose soul has been imprisoned in a solid block of ice and cast adrift in limbo amidst the stars that have sparkled and amazed us since the first breath of life. I'm the breadcrumbs that were swept off the floor and dispersed into the sand. I'm a man-made machine built to carry out simple tasks. I'm a tailor, threading a needle through this cloth, keeping my composure as I weave a tale of misfortune and lust. But everything I've said hovers in midair as if my words are just particles of dust. I'm the sun, the moon, the candle that's lit to fit a certain mood. If you open your eyes for a brief moment, you might see mermaids swimming in the blue lagoon. I'm a city hidden under waters that stretch far beyond mankind's reach. I'm a statue built of stone. I've gotten more recognition than the artist from whom I was conceived. I'm a man who at times loses his grip and finds it hard to distinguish reality from fantasy. I'm known as a romantic, a lyricist, a simple man to most. But if I was a painter, I would use God's paintbrush to paint me a picture of a perfect world.
Preserving the stem cells, the candle burning sage to rid the smell. Boiling river water, impurifying the emotions and beliefs of a diseased carcass of a people of a cult and a burial ceremony. Interrupted only by the clear-headed, hearing impaired muted trumpet players. 21 gun salute to fallen decree. Fallen to knees, stooped over blanketed in bilingual violent bleach speech patterns to file down pebbles beneath the ocean floor. Become the bumblebee, cross-pollinating dim-lit beacons careening across the universe air. Conceive planets with nebulas, caressing my dialect in space. Masturbating on the satellite sheet covers, associating my movement to the vomitous taste I've come to embrace. A handful of soil clenched during weak moments where I sense my grasp slipping from the earthworm I call my life. Escape the light, like some nocturnal sea slug attached to the beast's belly, affixed to the cement chute carpenter. Wade to the sandy surface, swimming in battle armor. A martyr fighting for life at war, with the inner conflicts of a pre-combustion popcorn kernel. Clenched between Jehovah's teeth like a poppy seed as his gums bleed and breathe. Recite and read the letters branded onto the sheep's sides as they march melancholy across my view in half slumber. I'm calling out the thunder that's battered with poetry, and our voices clash against the hillsides till we discover each other in a crab barrel of dynamic opposites. The lightning shielded consciousness, with a rash on my Achilles tendon, is a mark of the event, a monument to this uprising, dividing soil from my palm prints, the solemn resurrection and freeze frame time of the shaman, burning olive branches in a dumpster and trapping the fumes, calling these empty names to the forest trees to which I'm immune. Now search for rational aspects of my reasoning and remove all atmospheric pressure further impeding my breathing. Enchanted, emotions passing impulsively, leaving time in convulsions, lost to hope and devotion. Enchanted, emotions passing impulsively, leaving time in convulsions, lost to hope and devotion. Enchanted, emotions passing impulsively, leaving time in convulsions, lost to hope and devotion. Enchanted, emotions passing impulsively, leaving time in convulsions, lost hope and devotion. From kissing a corpse to post-mortem cold sores, the seasons of tattoo change into my callous skin and chap my lips in the course of time. And so I rise in a new dawn and run my cold hands up and down the wet tree bark and seek shelter from the dark winds. Over the river and through the woods, throwing stones in the well of souls. Behold the prophecies of old, where the chosen die alone and live with their eyes closed. With symbolism engulfed in gold in the mold of a crucifix, a pedestrian resting on a beam of light. What came first, impatience or anxiousness? Fate bases on decision, waiting for the origin of the species to take revenge on unfaithfulness. As your time's slowing to an end, damn the rivers and streams, but the answer's blowing in the wind.
susceptible to suspending suspects in suspension, interrogating the interpretation of intervention, reinforcing rejection, rejoicing, relax, relapse, justifying justice, a just cause with just the facts, overcasting, overpowering, overall overflow, exponential exports, exposed, ex post facto, guarding grams of garlic in the gargoyle's garden, paraphrasing the paradox in the paragraphs that pardon, hard heads in hard hats, hard shifts that hardly harden, realizing reality is a reception of reason, succeeding in searching for the seclusion of a season, modifying models of mod to come like Mohican.
Mobile, mechanical appearances idolize. Meditate on a silent night, urinate in your mind's pilot light. Suck my subliminal hanging from my pretencil, constricting a tentacle, draw the invisible village with a pencil. Skeleton crew through your massive view through your cataracts, dicing time into bloody chunks, tenderizing fried in animal fat. Sunshine, swallowed urinary tract, released inflamed. Dehydrated high dive, arrived to the desert on a horse with no name. Intensified, intellect foreseen, dreaming through warp travel. Transhuman, multi-dimensional, barefoot, mailing on coarse gravel. Circles, escape artists, sleep in closed refrigerators. Reenacted, rigor mortis, claymation, manipulated innovators. Arthritis, clitoris, stimulant, subarctic architect. Hellish arms length, arsonist, firewater, gargle. Intense intelligence, can you see the relevance of these statements? Arrangements have been made from the density of this intensity. Intelligence, elements that make up my identity. Arraignments have been made based solely on my intensity. Intelligence, can you see the relevance of these statements? Arrangements have been made from the density of this intensity. Intelligence, elements that make up my identity. Arraignments have been made based solely on my intensity.
A myriad of mechanical elements, human skeletons. A terrorist conquest, storming shores with automated wars. A monotone clone, bombing drones, symbolizing dying. Spying the surprising serpent, murdered worthless servant. Auspiciously, continuously, engineering new genes. Unable to stabilize my own chemical breakdown with a blank frown. Curiously, cultivating the earth's mysteriously mutated worth. Spoken word, deterred by the lure of a cure for being a blur. Sidestepping the sun to imagine, grasping passion. I was the lasting effort in my prior lifetime.
Glass-eye collector, marble madness interplanetary. Subatomical swap meet, inhale the ants off the open prairie. Abstract, artistic, aboriginally tonal etiquette. Cave dweller, clock, radio, randomly excrete extra resonance. Unorthodox moving object utilizes my point of reference. Drop anchor deep in the desert, document each cloud's excessiveness. Parabolic trajectory, melting point of the sun's glaciers. Cyanide, assorted pez flavor, suicidal tendencies I cater. Bicentennial censure with empty picture frames my inspiration. Dividing, grounding from the surface, demise with the falling sensation. Circles, the sentinel caress the supple fluctuations in the climate. Opposing perpendicular friction with my gills disrupt the alignment. Everest summit interests, a bit of fingerprints to my fan base. Basement, holiday, getaway, photo finish at the rat race. Intense intelligence, can you see the relevance of these statements? Arrangements have been made from the density of this intensity. Intelligence, elements that make up my identity. Arraignments have been made based solely on my intensity. Intelligence, can you see the relevance of these statements? Arrangements have been made from the density of this intensity. Intelligence, elements that make up my identity. Arraignments have been made based solely on my intensity.
Staring at a stab wound, a modestly intelligent baboon. God bless the weightlessness, elephants dropping their tusks. Careless, glareless, less likely to snipe me, fire freely. Maybe my mighty organs will protect me when they bring more costly mistakes, walking through fate with your eyes closed. It's obvious, I'm anonymous, synonymous with astonishment. Immaculately splattered kids battling the dismantling. Such a glamorous way to die in front of your friends with a needle in your... Wrapping myself in analog tape and digitally killing myself. Float from sand to shore, a man of war with a phantom roar.
Evaporate your existence and return in the form of... Drown yourself in your own sorrow, I'm not your normal. I'm more like a polar bear when my molars tear right through you. A dimensional malicious derivative in relevance to my... Loose lips and marble madness, I'm about to spit some... Petition for permission not to permeate through your... Lookouts get knocked out when I announce my... I can the mic, I'm on the vibe with DJ Jani. The network of my net worth is me versus your family's final fantasy is as fancy as my slaying symphony softly in the subdivision of... Hello, hear the hip honkies handing out some intense intelligence. Can you see the relevance of these statements? Arrangements have been made from the density of this intensity. Intelligence, elements that make up my identity. Arraignments have been made based solely on my intensity. Intelligence, can you see the relevance of these statements? Arrangements have been made from the density of this intensity. Intelligence, elements that make up my identity. Arraignments have been made based solely on my intense intelligence.
Inhibited cynicism, limited by inhibition to a derivative of criticism, constructed in split decision. Inhibited cynicism, limited by inhibition to a derivative of criticism, constructed in a split decision. Inhibited cynicism, limited by inhibition to a derivative of criticism, constructed in a split decision. Inhibited cynicism, limited by inhibition to a derivative of criticism, constructed in a split decision. Immediacy, meditating enclosed in a matrix of memories, the spontaneous solution to my dilemma incubated its way out of confusion. Cobblestone walkways in a paraplegic world, the downside to these artistic splurges of immune deficiency-laced semen. The history of human thought and progress is to be expressed in recorded writing, so my paperclips pass the diary of a faceless civilization. This chained snake of molecules slithers in my warm, firelit room of sensuous security, seizing hold of its own tail. What colors am I to choose as the representation of existence? And what canvas should be used as the receptor to this conception? The exemplified exception of death should be expressed in the form of resurrection, with the simplest image of breath finalized with the crashing of the wave's crest. The sphere of life shall mark this lesson daily, being set to rest beyond the Western Empire's iceberg opened by this spectacle digested. The winds were past in fortune tellings, and it was written on the moist surface of the tallest hillsides, through the dirty fingernailed labor of the soothsayers, with the soil-moving tools of mythological proportions, with the true message distorted, through permeations within dissected dialects. Inhibited cynicism, limited by inhibition to a derivative of criticism, constructed in a split decision. Inhibited cynicism, limited by inhibition to a derivative of criticism, constructed in a split decision.
I got this reputation for repelling those selling souls to ancient oracle man who lives and dies in the sand. Scripts get launched in the sky. I'm in highlight tournament mode, to Jani 5, 6, 7, 9 fucking ways to build a maze with stepping stones, bones, and Neolithic clay. I traveled north by northwest with the map sketched by Mighty Bomb Jack. My palms wrapped in a starting cast, wrap stored in freezer bags to avoid road burn when I ice climb up to the downfall of sideways functions. A hop, skip, and a jump from such assumptions. Ink is my tour guide. Well, blubbers, breakfast, lunch, and a bright-eyed stupor. I chill with the hunch. I sit with Rich to spitch the pompous prince who sits perpendicular to the fiddler on the rooftop of persuasion. Nerves racing through an adjacent view as if I had a grasp or felt the lack of. With no backup, my pen stays in motion to avoid frozen tremors that move slow. Keeping myself from the last ounce of presence I saved for my savior. Oh, great God of tree sap, come out and show your thumb. Don't make me live and die in the same season. With boom boom jiggly puff crack on both my shoulders, the air gets peppermint, crystal, topaz, sassafras, shelter split. Lips get licked, licks get dished, fish get wet. The plot just through my fingers. Next to me, Johnny stands still. He's the man like was, is, and will behave. Amnesia's cum drops on the backdrop from the brushstroke against fantasy. Man, before there was an if against my stroke, painting fingers that greet the backdrop and spiral against the fantasy on the foreground. Memory drops from the rooftop, tossing and turning in a cot. Caught my attention in a fishnet suspension like rainbow trout in a roundabout dimension. Catch the oracle, ordained by the cosmos. The same borehole with Duffy Celsius. Who's she? She's only in 33 RPMs. I spank bastard polar bears with an asteroid belt until my teardrops melt down my killed. My free will's initial surcharge. Lightning bug detective, blue vice fly sits on the perch of a rear window. I hitchhike home alone with the man who knew too much, and we discuss our state of limbo and how it exists in a state of limbo.
Inhibited cynicism, limited by inhibition to a derivative of criticism, constructed in a split decision. Inhibited cynicism, limited by inhibition to a derivative of criticism, constructed in a split decision. Exotic exhaustion, attention is lost in the unlimited possibilities of unified theory of common opossums, evolutionary processes. Cross-section, examined as objects of metabolic malnourished genetic mutation, trisomy crossover mutiny in the saturation of engineering genome fabrication to an infatuation stemming from a culturally biased manifestation of desired alterations in human cultivation. Satan's exaggeration, pornographic plastic tissue implanted, sculpted for the mantle to be examined under the burning candles and flashing cameras. Aesthetic pleasure from the one-dimensional campgrounds to be displayed on our canvas, a pictorial representation of sand and dust. Recycling the reciting the manuscripts and stairwells, justifying a just cause and two-way causation from a multitude of factors. The endless, denseless laughter of a wanderer without a cabin, the cataclysmic capture of the passing cadaver from the rushing river. Suspended from the trees to dry rot the eyes of justifiable time, the symbolistic sign of the grand design of man's inclined nature is a grave digger, a soil raper, draped in linen, sinning against the interpersonal control of a will to hold tomorrow against a cheese grater. It needs this family into the incinerator, blinded by the qualities and oddity of a sociopathic grasp of the value of livestock property, kissing his crucifix before bed properly, unconsciously fantasizing about the taste of meat from a forlorn anomaly. Masking tape security sells the great escape to a new world, as circles and amnesia leave Johnny Five's tracks infertile. the ageless, nature vandal, holding a candle to the sun, draped in deerskin, wearing an antler headpiece indifferently. My scripts are dipped in book burnings, impressed as human tissue. Is my holy preservation on this ancient reservation. The free speaker, beekeeper in a kitchen cupboard, with muddy handprints on the drywall to mark my territory to the solstice. Fluorescent glowworm, a treasure troll kidney stone, in a glacier backstroker with a dislocated shoulder straitjacket. My pen is captive to gravity as I strip the earth's rotation and swing from the tree branch till it wears to its outermost ring. From the escape artist bee sting, repetitive seamstress needle motion, I rise from the birth canal drenched in aloe lotion. Rose beds are torture enclosures with thorn whips and berry thickets. Hip-hop is a rodent sacrifice crucified on my picket fences. Trespass the property line of our seclusion on a well-worn path, where I stash the unused pieces of the Milky Way galaxy in a landfill. Sleep in my brass body cast, Egyptian lover with a glass tongue. The Windex polished lyricist, the sun also rises eternally. I tan my pale body lying nude on the sundial, and I chop down cherry trees while fertilizing the green mile. I don my human skin helmet and sweep dust from the crossroads. Land bridges are speed bumps as I circle the weathered globe. Journey to the center of my birth, writing by lantern light. Impregnate the hermaphrodite and walk the path as day passes at night. I pass the mic with backspin to symbolize the revolution of these cycles. In the evolution of circles orbits, I became the antler without a head. Into my personal guardian perched on the hills of Kilimanjaro. Let's set up in an Indian camp and polish stones into tomorrow. The Latter-day Saints skeleton crew, marching disguised with flesh. A graphic image, tangible in concept, yet elusive nevertheless. This is the mating call of the sea urchin, the war cry of the deaf tribe. Grinding our grains like gunpowder snorted to my nose from the left side. Circles is the voice like Halloween oak trees in Sleepy Hollow. Arsonist, the suspension bridge on the wrecking ball of your hypnotist. Spinal donor with my face printed in the bed of nails. A light sleeper on the organ trail, a fish called memory on the metric scale. It's my saliva on a sandcastle, whence the taste of the dehydrated clock. I'm the isosceles triangle, he's flock westbound.
I built my own Roman empire, where prophets and sacred can roam in and out as they please. A revolving door disease, but I live as long as the Eastern Sea. Sitting still with guilt-ridden discipline as if crippled. I think I heard my last silent night fizzle, when albino ants carried your head across a plain of dust. I stargazed on a bed of blades and watched the serpent's rainbow fade. Remain grounded on breathless soil. Chopstickle the cornfields planted on my ancestors' malpractice made perfect. Amnesia surfs on his last short circuit. Hatches woven together with Xczircles' vast deference. Appraise the collection of organic weapons used to sever the peasants. Surrender your skin, join them in the parade of stolen kin. Illusions, restoration, and wisdom just made my top 3 list of best men. Word is law, Moses. I've been back the wind and sucked the magnetic field through a straw. All you saw was talk, heard the flock of hawks surf instinct to dormant forms. Walk like a Mesopotamian, sweat the secrets of medicine and wipe the blood that trickles down the roots of pharmacy. We're coasting reverse while looking forward, pulling the cord to save the freight ends. Looking out of the windows of transformation to strategy, I played sound displaced at peace and westbound.
Contractual status. The lattice lays face of superiority. Madness is traced by the port authority. Cordially spoken, horribly broken glass. The cloak and the mask, the oak and the brass. Standing there having spoken last. In world-renowned surroundings, frowning upon what I've been counting on. Fountain in the song, the mountain that is gone. Color-coded universe, blue stones through the worn-out thrones. Alone I stare where I swear I once saw a window. I sure miss those days. Homelessness told me that he prays at least once every 10 days, but still embraces persistence. I have become the stranger in the distance, but I believe it's still just a phase. Mortified by the announcement of oncoming light. Patterns and signs, designs glowing. I am isolated by rain and wind shines. Times haven't changed, common belief has. Grace of my colors past. I am cast tight. The mask no longer stands mighty. Travel the Bible Belt, speaking of revival and health. Quest has become left. Nervousness has fallen to this crest, a personal apex, if you will. We capture the beauty of the still, to which I appeal. Empty hands, but the eyes are filled with hope. Topographically, I caress each isotope, confide in the globe. It's me in circles and nothing but hooded robes. Heading westbound.
Grasshopper, top spinning planet, pseudonym anonymous author, father time's bastard child. Digital clocks are dipped in copper for the posthumous duration. Meditating in an iron maiden. Awaken and sharpen the large end of a fallen branch from a tree. And take to the night in attempts to kill gravity. Kiss my ass, acidic tear ducts. Studying a subtle, humble state of mind in flux. Brush past the brush strokes of a poet with no words. Assert my birth to an inverted world of little word. Credit the crispy breeze with teaching the abstract lessons of a man requesting Novocaine before being beheaded. I'm running my Space Ranger, Land Rover like a razor over the acne of the moon. Sipping apple booms. I zipped up my own body bag, ate a walrus steak, and incubated under saturated sunlight for 3 days.
Gumshoe, stickers, cactus prickling, gangrene shades and ingrown toenails, opium flames, spit fire, eyes looking flat tires, dusty footprints and sub-shoe soul cypher. Gumshoe, stickers, cactus prickling, gangrene shades and ingrown toenails, opium flames, spit fire, eyes looking flat tires, dusty footprints and sub-shoe soul cypher.
I just painted Wu-Tang Clan on my girl's toes. In a nice shade of red that matches her polo sport pantyhose. Man, I love my trendy B-girl chick.
Oh yeah, she's dope.
I dubbed her the written freestyle volume 12 radio mix. She lives in Costa de Casa, likes to shop at South Coast Plaza. And now she wants to leave LA and go to New York like Mike Piazza. Man, I love my trendy B-girl chick. My lyrics sail above her airhead, but she still admits that I flip. She puts Timberland Magoof on her pager. Man, nothing can phase her. Hey, she's a communications major, minoring in B-boy fashion apparel designing. Oh, she's got it all, except for notions such as logic, individuality, and perspective. Traded it all for an underground Amnesia voodoo doll and a double CD of Puff Daddy sings the best of Pink Floyd's The Wall. So past the Prozac, it's the engagement of 7/8 where we spit fire in these Gumshoe ciphers.
Gumshoe, stickers, cactus prickling, gangrene shades and ingrown toenails, opium flames, spit fire, eye looking flat tires, dusty footprints and sub-shoe soul cypher. Gumshoe, stickers, cactus prickling, gangrene shades and ingrown toenails, opium flames, spit fire, eye looking flat tires, dusty footprints and sub-shoe soul cypher.
What a weird feeling, standing under the feared ceiling, healing self-inflicted skin tears, a bored immortal. Sometimes I spin stares, my grin spares the world of sorrow, hollowed out the inside of tomorrow. Then again, what if I'd been born with reptilian flesh? Would my fresh appearance still persevere? The blurs were once clear images, ridiculous sets of suspicious events demense me. Eventually I think more of the unacceptable than is reasonable to a balanced individual. Considerable amount of typically dead lepers, an unemployed DJ in his own room breaking his records. Letters of intent, likely to cement me and walk like a human, trying to prevent the wind. Comment on the end, I hate the sky but it won't go away. My eye is little more than the medium of the day.
Gumshoe, stickers, cactus prickling, gangrene shades and ingrown toenails, opium flames, spit fire, eye looking flat tires, dusty footprints and sub-shoe soul cypher. Gumshoe, stickers, cactus prickling, gangrene shades and ingrown toenails, opium flames, spit fire, eye looking flat tires, dusty footprints and sub-shoe soul cypher.
Motel room rhymes. Mob sewer bus. A Maytag refrigerator box on wheels with a hole in the floor to slowly push my way along. I cut out windows with scissors. For curtains I got newspapers. I sit inside my cardboard box and I write songs. On my restroom, well, I just go to the alleyway and I kneel. Sometimes I use curtains for DP, I don't see what's the big deal. And you might be wondering, how do I satisfy my hunger? Well, us bums take a late night dive into the juicy dumpsters. I sit on the sidewalk with my harmonica, begging for chump change. I can't not for any contributions, but I'll talk crap after you walk away. Just thinking to myself, my demise could be so scary. Watches out of my pant leg grows a little itty bitty dingleberry. It looked like an adobe ball, only that it was a little more hairy. Another part-time panhandler making enough peace for my Thunderbird. Can't understand what I mumble to myself because my speech is slurred. Crash out until I awaken to the chirping of the birds. I got no worries, shit ain't stormy weather. Come my roof is waterproof from the natural sickness that the pigeons drop from above. So next time you see me walking by, just give me some love. These are the trails and tales of your homeless street bums.
over and massage my redneck, work the spine and undress me in Vanessa. Then you can head west to Odessa and pick up Billy Fahrenheit. I'll chill here and make a mess of my essence, battle peasants for peanuts and lamp with klepto. Cause I used to be a soul klepto till I had to let go to try to light my nights where I can. It's a big pond and I feel like a trilobite, man. About to slide my knife in the silent night. I'm the violent type in a pirate fight, serving you while your girl admires my type. But cheek, see what I'm saying, dog? Where's my insight? Building shelter from the white sand. I am hip honky white man, seeing double from this half-trip girl's shoulder. I sing the blues, reds and yellows, trying to make the greens in Orange County, but nobody gives a damn, man. Rompo's homeless in Japan, sipping Tom Popo. While Molly Ringwald is cheating on him with Johnny 5. I'm releasing carbs in a cardboard box with a thermometer that reads 103 degrees, trying to jack some psychomax while freestyling the answers to the MCAT to this guy who's got a beard that resembles a chin strap. Let's go corporate, call Billy Fahrenheit's fiberglass orphans. We've got inequality in check, escape with the Duckets after the skeletons endorse it.
River Village. Oil spillage with my multitask pillage. Stealing cigarettes. Got no feel of regrets with my teal chemistry stretch. In a double wide where trouble resides, parked in a two-space carport where arsenal drink past blue ribbon to distort the train more when it comes to pads. Tall cans in a paper bag, laughs are a dime a dozen. But most ain't got no sense. Try trusting something while clutching nothing. Touching the hand of good faith, a penny on the rails of freight. In exchange for this remorseful statue of hate. Infatuated with struggle, cleaning off my own bubble. What'll I do now? Cockeyed brow, isn't this despair subtle? Why don't we meet at the Meals on Wheels shuttle? Time is less, where these old cars come to rest and eventually get put to sleep. Listening to police scanner while the neighbor gets arrested. Digesting that insatiable hunger to compress it. Watching the kids perform their homemade stunt. Forgive me if I am a little bit blunt, but y'all can kiss my ass cause we was home of the month.
Makeshift fireplace, overhead projection, ice sheet, sunspray, magnifying glass to the water sculpture on the lawnmower man of the high plains. I'm the levitating plant rooted to the emptiness I created as a context. The sun rises with the onset of my eyelids parting from sleep. The free speak, smoke signal session, smoke with carbon dioxide breath. A well-worn sociopath, rite of passage, traveled in random directions. In the name of the smoke screen that pulled the lamps wool over the light bulb in my bedroom. I stand in this industry's abyss, filling the void with little headroom. The hitchhiker, stomping your landscape to the shape of my footprints. I name these phrases in honor of my process paper and sniff the ashes of my past kin. Who's the hider balloon stitch of skin? 80 days of revolution in a fishbowl, blindsided by the bulletproof glass of log cabin seclusion. It's the nomadic crew, touring state to nation in a funeral procession. We are nature, fossil impressions in the gray matter floating in formaldehyde. I'm an acorn collector with a king tut piece hanging from my floating rib, swinging a sieve like a grandfather clock with a quartz-driven heart weight. I'm the lightning bug in a dark place, the popsicle sticks to your house of cards, the helium molecule homeward bound in a burning car made of spare parts. You are the wooden cross burning on my front lawn as I am hip-hop. We are the crocodile hunters wearing high-top flip-flops with an insatiable hunger. I may be a hopeless free-range buffalo, living in our solar system's homes. I sleep in a boxcar with swarms of locusts lying on a bed of roses.
Your shit's too whack for me to even play in my tape deck. So I begin to kick red and slash your neck with a paper cut. You got a paper cut, cause when I kicked it, I ripped it. And victim missed to flip it like a stack of hotcakes. You're too fake for me and my crew, the skeletons. Leaving shitty MCs pitiful, that was critical when I spit a flow. Make 'em all shake, let's get jello at the freezing degree. You better pray the G.O.D. before you ever fuck with me. Oh shit, you ain't heard of me. 1.5% of one unforgettable. I'm Max Skape. In fact, we may as well be called completely undeniably. One bomb that scribbles a bomb that's trying for these whack stuck time. These whack thug rhymes. Get no love from my stereo system. I did some without regret, even though I'm pissing you're on my Janis and you kiss them. Situations is critical, like cannibalistic type scripture. Sounds like a fat bitch's phone number because I ripped ya in half rice. My shit's so nice, I have to repeat it twice. No time, blasting MCs to death with no knife. Now this time coming back harder than John Rocket, so I can't be cut. Walking in and back out of the club, and I'm grabbing my nuts. I'm fade the bull like 9-6 Chi-Town. Tell you no talent ass artists take the fuck right back down to the charts on the billboard, trying to store more than your rights. Cream and through the bar, in the corner convention, top 400 like Forbes magazine. Whenever I'm mentioned, for my skills, that's the mode than a night stalker. Now I'm doing the Unforseen, I'm Christopher Reeves in the Walker. The Unforseen, locking MCs up with the case of canceling. Sleeping next to your bed with a knife so I can kill your dreams. It seems so strange in the range, twisted with the sickness. The skeleton crew do away with them seeds like a sickness in the Unforseen. Lighting MCs up with a case of kerosene. Sleeping next to your bed with a knife so I can kill your dreams. It seems so strange in the range, twisted with the sickness. The skeleton crew do away with them seeds like a sickness.
On a journey through my mind, a million thoughts scatter all at one time. You're now entering a brainstorm. You've been warned, heavy mentals lie ahead. It might be best for you to turn back now while you can and leave this journey through my head. Cause where my mind goes, you'll go too. My special place that I created when I was thinking of you. No good intentions are involved. So much suffering from alter egos in my younger years. Like crooked thoughts had evolved. Beware when they emerge. You don't know which one of the four of me you're facing. T-Loke's still displacing bones. Osmosis is still making clones. Nemesis never came home. While universe explores the unknown. Studying Zen, I tried to find myself. But when you seek it, you cannot find it. The fact that you're blinded, open your eyes, son. It's right in front of your face. Use your senses. Hear it, smell it, touch it, taste it. After that, erase it. Makes sense if you don't try to make sense of it, doesn't it? I love it.
In the Primeridian, I chase dreams of obsidian, obscured by eye crust. I thrust my nitrous-powered virus in the air, still on the path again, unharmed by the bloodborne pathogens. During a gathering of admin cavemen chatting amongst brains, furious slept rock left lost in the same in a parallel universe. I'm shown the southern set of the parallel fist. You don't even get the bloody gist. I'm the OG mermaid pimp, scuba daddy, playing a tuba from Singapore to Cincinnati, playing patty cake with the clammy hands of passion in a virtual mentality, lashing out shouts of doubt. M31 was what it was all about. It was Darkwing, Osmosis, Omset, Psychnotic, Oddity, and Seafoodine. Some still remain on the skeleton team. ICU, Jani 5.0, Barbecue 96, plus my battle record of 6-0. It's the way it still is. KJ and KK in 97, 910, it's the astronauts, Karnov and Spa. Movement was always there in the 7th chair. Ever since it made sense like the spontaneous elements. If anyone in this league of prestige MCs was whack, we'd say rhymes like I attack thugs at whack clubs, then get back rubs from the girl that sold me my black lugs. Most of y'all at best will reach the peak of my lowest values. That's grief, and with so much love I still shake my head in disbelief.
The signs of settlement in the cornfield. The rusty machete blade stares up at the sunken sky, reflecting its mannequin smile. The rubber band shifting of the shadows in the cycle siphons the sounds of the woodpeckers carving their initials into the trees next to the gallows. I ride the current without a paddle, repressing the scenery as the Whitewater temple leaves all but the horizon in a blur. Adjusting the shutter speed and nailing particle board to my window frames, in preparation and anticipation of my own return to consciousness. Spilling the chalice of wine at my bedside, and pressing the hot iron down on the 2 sheets of wax paper with the dead trees' leaves in between. Sandpaper seems to bring even the most callous plains to their knees as I glide across this flat planet I fabricated of sawdust and melted horse hooves, tearing strips of fabric and wrapping them around the tip of a femur bone to make a torch so I can explore my dark environment. For hours I watched the months pass, dumping what was left of our water supply into a bucket, set fire to my hut in the glistening sand. I wove baskets out of my dead companion's skin, which now carry the limbs and wings of birds and animals I've collected from the marketplace, setting these remains on a flat slab of rock to dry in the fraction of the sun to sacrifice in symbolic supper to the emptiness of hunger. And with the charred tip of a twig, I began this tradition of written words, sending myself the reply to the posthumous letter I never composed.
Just in case my corpse has remorse of sorts. When the fort comes crumbling down, as I stumble into a frown, my look is around. Somehow I was given these living rights just to astound. Bound to the sound of my sexual, intellectual attraction in inhumane fashion. I start dashing through this contraption, mapping my route. I doubt your cloud saw that. The drawbacks include my intruded loss of a secluded view of eternity that was burning me, deterring me from living purely in a skin shell, with a frail detail to the veil that covers my bottomless well. When I try to spell, I speak unique syllables till the bull's horns no longer reach the range of my reach. I teach miracles with political aspiration, such a malicious fascination, the glass of my meditation. Still the gills will not respond when you are constant in my head. My paper bleeds the blood red. That being said, I offer less of an explanation. To the surreal, I can feel the vacuum of the ozone, pulling my voice and manipulating tone, vindicating the face of stone, bone tissue with a breath. I speak from the left on the right issues, misuse the rituals, habitual missiles that sting the surface. Immaculate conception means absolutely nothing if you were born birthless.
I take a deep breath, I feel replenished, alive. Look towards the heavens, the light from the stars makes the sky shine bright. The water from within my eyes is dry. second I thought I had died, but I'm in a never-ending fight, trying to turn everything wrong to right. Sharing a vision with a chosen few, I never get noticed until one day you look in the rear view and see me right behind you, searching for the truth, traveling this dark and narrow road, passing heads that are decapitated and bodies that lay motionless as they erode on the grassy knoll. Been following the same crow for 3 days. It's a hard and long journey, but I must sustain. I refrain from the anger that subsides within my soul, trying to regain my senses, but I had never lost control. Then with an instance, everything I had to hold and let go, leaving me all alone. I crouch under a tree to shade me from the rain, but I can still feel the water as it trickles down my face. The sun peers through the clouds that reside above where I lay, blinding me, leaving me in disarray. My bones begin to ache with every step I take as I stumble towards the lake. I see the moon and sun shining bright on the same day. Images embedded within my brain make it hard for me to shake, get away from their design. I find the strength I need from the water in the lake. I begin to rejuvenate, rehabilitate, still following the same crow, but it's the 5th day as I maneuver through the jungle. Asteroids falling by the bundles, the world as I know it starts to crumble. I remain humble, look at life in a different perspective, but with the same objective, and at the same time I must be selective.